Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we're back with more Piofiore 1926, continuing Henry's route, and we just got into chapter 4, right after confronting Sebastiano, who was trying to kidnap and or stab Elena. Whatever. Anyway, later that night, we gathered at the church. Sister Sophia was tending to Elena. Orlok remained nearby to guard us in the event of another attack. As for Leo, who had volunteered to act as bait to lure in Sebastiano, since Sebastiano's men never showed up, he came to no harm at all. A little bleeding from the cut and some scrapes from when she fell. That's the extent of Elena's physical injuries, though I'm sure the mental toll was far worse. Hearing Sebastiano's reasoning for kidnapping Elena, still can't say I'm able to follow his train of thought. It may just be as he said. As irrational as it seems, it probably makes sense in his mind.
A mind ravaged by madness to anyone who witnessed it. Might this be owed to his near-death experience?
Yang's over there like, the man is crazy because he doesn't think I am beautiful.
He's always been that way, and there are many who are broken from the start.
Of course. Well, I still think he's beyond the norm, even among the abnormal. Nicola thought to himself for a moment, and a wry smile appeared on his face. He said that his mask was an impersonation of the Direttore, but his mannerisms and speech were certainly similar as well. You researched the way you behaved?
No, in fact, I was the one who was imitating Sebastiano. I couldn't risk anyone taking notice of a stark change in his personality.
So he wasn't pretending to be a madman. It was his true self. And comprehension. I thought his goal was revenge against you, but that doesn't seem to be the case. He seems obsessed with Henry, but I don't understand why. Henry's like, it was probably that gay night summer camp. His logic wasn't something I can make any sense of. Do they know what gay people are right now? I'm just saying. Because I kind of that's the vibe I'm getting. I mean, that was the vibe they were throwing down in the Alternativa route. Was like, he's obsessed with him. Oh, we're friends. Are you just friends? You want to be his roommate. I'm his roommate, goddammit! Seeing my confusion, Yang responded matter-of-factly.
Whatever his objective, our course of action remains the same. He must be eliminated.
What's this, Yang? Well, you couldn't care less what happened to the town.
I simply don't care for him. He's not only uninteresting, but annoying as well. And he said I wasn't pretty.
There's a personal affront to Yang. That's so fucking funny. That's why he's mad. He's boring and I don't like him. Is it because he said you weren't beautiful? Are you personally affronted? I was surprised to hear Yang say that. I thought you'd be entertained by someone like him, but I suppose not.
He has no underlying fears to exploit.
His expression was cold and somewhat unlike anger. I could see why Yang would consider him to be annoying.
He's openly committing crimes in public with blatant disregard for law and order. The reason why crime's tolerated in Berlin is due to the protection granted by the church. Not so he can indulge in his own fancies with impunity. It's bothersome that he could have misunderstood that.
You do realize the same goes for you. Dante raised his eyebrows, at which point Gil laughed and addressed Henry with finality. Anyway, you've confirmed that Sebastiano Gallier does exist. You got him to come out of the woodwork even before the 2 weeks were up. Just like with Marco's case, your prediction was right on the money. So feel free to let us know what else you got. Gil looked straight at Henry and spoke sincerely. Aww. Our boyfriend's making friends with our other boyfriends. I like this. This is nice. We'll get along in the man harem, right? And Visconti will support you however we can. I've decided that you've earned our trust.
You should come over, because Oliver really needs to feed you. He's like, it's killing him, man. Have your affections changed, Redford? You were so eager to spurn Lambert's advances just last week. What can I say? He's won me over. I like a guy who can get the job done. Wow, phrasing, Gilbert. Right after frickin' Yang's like, you were spurning his advances, and he's like, yeah, well, he could get the job done, so I'm into it. Like, they knew what they were doing with these lines. You know damn well. They knew our minds were gonna be in the gutter, and we were like, are they romancing each other? Am I even here? I don't care. I'm fine with that. Gil answered Yang's mockery with a confident smile. Like Yang's over there being affronted because frickin' Sebastiano didn't think he was pretty. I will strive to live up to your expectations. I'm relieved that I was able to prove Sebastiano's existence. It was only a guess that he was the ringleader behind these events. Henry continued in a serious voice. However, what concerns me now is that Sebastiano knew about the Key Maiden. And that's also something the Falzone cannot ignore. And the Key Maiden's supposed to be kept a secret. I don't believe the information was leaked from the Falzone's side, which leaves us limited possibilities as to who did. I felt I understood what Henry was trying to say. Aside from those here, the only people who knew about the Key Maiden are... Spacey, it seems Sebastiano's informant is someone with a grudge against you. And do you have any idea of who it could be? Not at all. I haven't met Teo in this timeline. I couldn't recall anyone who had expressed those kinds of feelings to me directly. Also, because he didn't exist in the OG timeline and we haven't met him yet, you know what I mean? The idea that someone could hate me that much came as more of a surprise than anything else. I mean, it's kind of funny in Otome logic, because, like, everybody always loves the main characters right now. Somebody hates me? I just don't understand. Everybody likes me. It sounds conceited and douchey, but, like, she's actually a good little church girl, so everybody does kind of like her. You know what I mean? There's really no reason not to like her aside from stupid good little church girl that everybody likes and all the men are throwing themselves, except for that bitterness. You know what I mean? Like, but there's really no reason anyone in town doesn't like you. And you live a sheltered, small existence, so you're like, I don't know. And could you imagine if someone came up there, somebody that despises you? You're like, I could probably think of people who don't like me. I'm not sure why they would despise me, but I could totally get them not liking me because you've met enough people and I'm sure you've rubbed people the wrong way. I know there's tons of people that don't like me, I'm sure. You know what I mean? Like, just like you don't like every person you meet, you know what I mean? But like, in this instance, if someone was like, someone despises you so much, they're actively working with a psychopath to try to kill you and they want nothing but horrible things for you. I think I would also be like, okay, I mean, I get it if you're like, oh, I met someone who just didn't like you. Fair. I met someone who actively despises you with their entire being. I.e. Teo, how he feels about us, right? What the hell did I do? Like, I feel like anybody would be baffled by this. I was not expecting that, you know? We'd like to investigate who his informant is, and there's a possibility that Sebastiano wields powerful connections. Yes, I'll look into it as well. From the way he spoke, it seemed as though he had a good idea of where to start. Turned to Orlok. We need you to check into the church. So, what'll happen next? Another nighttime caper where you huddle together and await his appearance? No, it's no use now. He'll likely alter his strategy in response to tonight. Meaning? And now that he's met me again in person, it'll no longer satisfy him to pursue those with tenuous connections to me. That means... I felt a sinking feeling in my stomach. He'll come after you now, Henry? Unsurprising. His obsession was so extraordinary that it bordered on ridiculous. And not to mention his bizarre rule of speaking only to those he considers beautiful. The conversation comes to a standstill otherwise. Nicola's over there. He didn't even look me in the eyes. He just kept staring at my hands like, hello, my eyes are up here, man. Oh, I finally get all those women now. It really is a shame, Yang. You didn't seem to make the cut. You know it bothers him, and so you're just digging at that. Why don't we further discuss your sympathies outside, Francesca? Just the two of us. Hey, you two, calm down. We're still talking. Yang frowned moodily. I love the fact that Yang is so annoyed about that little detail. Like, I only talk to beautiful people, and Yang's just affronted by that. It just bothers him so much. Like, I know this is Henry's route, but don't you just want to go over to Yang and just pat him on the head? And just, we all think you're beautiful. Of all the people to be bothered by that, like, you just didn't expect that. I really wouldn't have expected. You'd think Yang would be like, I don't give a shit, and he's over there like, that bothers me. It hurts. Rude. Clearly he considers Lambert special. What would you say his considerations extend to all men? Oh, Yang's over there. Yang got the hint. I've known him to court women in the past, but he has no reservations in expressing affections apart from that. Henry turned to me with concern. I don't say this to scare you, but I want you to be very careful. Try not to attract his interest. I understand. I'm going to be staying at the hotel. How am I going to attract his interest? Yang, who was watching our exchange, cut in with a loud, deliberate sigh. You're a poor judge of character, Lambert. Of all the moneyed individuals whose identity you could have assumed. Moneyed. Yes, it's moneyed. Okay. I was like, people with money. Right, okay, never mind. I don't know why my brain didn't process that. Of all the moneyed individuals whose identity you could have assumed, you chose the raving lunatic. It's far easier to escape notice under an outlandish disguise. Besides, it was necessary to choose someone whom I didn't mind killing. I see. Yang gave a thin smile of satisfaction. Oh, Henry. I think Yang likes you now. Like that cat you gave a treat to and is like, yeah, right, you're okay, human. I realized once again that Henry had a frightening side to him. One that was able to discuss murder with ease. I mean, okay, I can't blame her for this. I want to be like, girl, everyone in this room has murdered somebody. None of your friends are really, like, innocent at all. They're all kind of horrible, okay? Even sweet, innocent. I think the only person, aside from, like, Elena and Sister Sophia, not the churchy people, but, like, all the people with ties to the Mafia, I think the only one that's the most innocent would be freaking Oliver. I'm pretty sure Leo's had to kill people, whatever, and has done so. If his life was on the line, he would absolutely shoot someone in the fucking forehead, okay? Right between the eyes. Not a problem. But, like, Oliver is the only one who probably hasn't. But I'm just saying, I'm not sure if the need arose. I'm sure he'd do it. Okay? I think he'd probably bitch the whole time and then complain afterward for about a month. But I'm just saying. But, like, I also am guilty of doing the same thing. She is like, it's just all of a sudden I was struck with Henry is a murderer. Yeah! Every time we're in any of these routes with any of them, Dante says he skins people. I mean, he didn't skin people, but, he slices them up. Yang is the only one who you're like, yeah, no, I know we're going straight for a trap. Like, I'm not even fazed by it. You know damn well, he acts like a psychopath. He is a psychopath. We're there for it. But every one of these other bitches comes up here and is like, oh, he's so sweet and nice and charming. And like, oh, right, yeah, no, he kills people. Wait, shit, what? They bamboozle you. And she's bamboozled right now. And I can't blame her, though, because honestly, same. What have we been talking about every moment of this route? Like, it is just baffling how easily bamboozled you are into forgetting that they are all just horrible people. In a way. Good people who do horrible things, I guess. Okay people? I don't know. Except for Yang. Horrible person does horrible things. We still love him anyway. Anyway.
It was the same side that allowed him to stand face to face with the mafia bosses.
Henry, be watchful of your surroundings, and we can't have you die on us just yet.
Yes, I know. I'd like to say you can't have him die on me at all, thanks.
We'll set up security around those who could still be in danger. That includes Marco. I suppose that should be all for today, though we can gather again if anything else happens.
With that, Nicola concluded the meeting. The tense atmosphere in the church seemed to have lightened by the end of it. Miss Spacey. Yes? I'm sorry for exposing you to the disturbing nature of tonight's events. No. Sorry, I had to, friggin' burp. Oh, sorry. I'm the one who insisted on coming with you. You don't need to apologize. But I looked into Henry's worried face and replied calmly. I admit, there's still a lot on my mind, but there's something I feel more strongly than fear. That I don't want him coming near you. I don't want him coming near you either. I want you to stay as far away from him as possible. And there's something truly wrong with him. I smiled as I recalled what he said. Could you imagine, though? Okay, so Henry being over there. I had to find someone that I could impersonate that was a little crazy, and then I didn't mind killing. Because being a little out there and flamboyant and crazy and dramatic just, makes people stay a little bit further away from you. So, it was a good cover, right? So, you just have to imagine Sebastiano was a little unhinged to begin with, right? Oh, he was always crazy. He's always been, there's something wrong with that man. But just imagine how Henry, to be the person, to be Henry, right? Sebastiano was literally, and we've seen how he is. So he's always really been like that. We didn't make him that way, okay? But to be the person who looks at someone who's like that and is like, they're totally fucking unhinged. They are one gentle breeze away from murdering orphans. Horribly. Yes. I will befriend them. I will learn all of the things about them. And then I will kill them and assume their personality. Sounds good. I mean, I'm just saying. That takes a special kind of crazy, Henry. To get in bed with complete insanity in order to become the complete insanity. I mean, you get it, I definitely didn't mind killing him. Valid, Henry. I don't think anyone in the world would have minded because the man was insane and you probably saved a bunch of people from being serial killed because he would have turned into a serial killer. Okay? We're having that problem now. But think of all the other people he would have killed up until now if Henry hadn't attempted murdered him first. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to say murdered because he didn't really, but you know what I mean? So all the time Sebastiano was healing and dealing with that, there's a lot less people he murdered. So, okay, fine. But again, it takes a special kind of craze. Henry, I love you and you're beautiful and you're not, but it's just, you're very special for having looked at that man and thought, I could take his personality. No one will mind if I kill him. Not wrong there, sure. But also, the fact that you could stand being around him, being friends with him, getting into bed with him. I mean, maybe literally, I meant figuratively, but I mean, who knows? Who knows what happened? Who knows what kind of bromance you really had? But you know what I mean? Bromance in the man. Just to... I'm just saying. Henry, you're a little crazier than we'd like to think, but that's why we love you. Anyway. I mean, we love you despite it, but damn. All I'm saying. I smiled as I recalled what he said. Thank you, Henry.
Are you done flaunting your romance? Just let him be, Yang. Let's go.
And what makes you think I'll follow you?
Well, I'm headed somewhere they serve alcohol.
I don't need it. Goes anyway. Yang and Gil exchanged more words as they left. Dante's over there being slightly jealous. Look, I love everyone in this game. Like, I don't have the pangs of, like, romance for Orlok at all. But, like, I love Gil when we're in his route. We have so much fun and Yang and everything. And, like, Nicola and but I can't help it. I don't know what it is. Dante might be, like, my actual favorite. Because he just shows up, looks like this, and I feel bad. Like, everyone else, Gil's over there looking like, oh, hey, good job. And you're like, I don't feel guilty for romancing Henry in front of Gil, but I feel guilty romancing Henry in front of Dante. Stop it! It's not even a sad look in your eye, but I feel like you're giving me a sad look. Stop it. Don't do this to me. It's not fair. You had your turn. It's Henry's turn right now, and everybody else is fine. Don't you make me guilty, but he makes me feel guilty. This look on his face, there's nothing about it that should make me feel guilty, and it does. I'm like, oh, Dante, did you see that? Sweetie, it's okay. Like, I don't want to hurt him. I didn't really... Okay, I mean, it happens in every game. You know, there's always your favorite, and you're like, oh, I feel guilty romancing this other character in front of my favorite. You know? But, like, I love everybody in Piofiore so much. Like, okay, again, I love them all as characters. There's not one of them I can't stand. I don't want to romance Orlok, but he is sweet and adorable, and I just want to pat him on the head and stuff. But, like... But for the most part, like... I like our love interests a lot. Look, welcome to the man harem, a majority of you, but, like, I feel the most guilty, and I just wasn't expecting that, because, like, I kind of feel like there's always your standout fave, and then there's some you're like, oh, I really love these ones, and I kind of just felt like with this one, it's like, man, I just really like all of them for the most part, you know what I mean, in different ways and different things, but, like, I think Dante is the one squeaking out that I just wasn't expecting, or I just kind of forgot. Until we got here into 1926, where you're like, oh, Dante, and you're like, because there's some love interests that just stay burned into your heart forever. Van Helsing, god damn you, you bastard. You know what I mean? That are like always your all-time favorites. Even if you're like, I remember nothing about their route, but I know I love that man. I have amnesia, but everything is forgotten except for him. I know, you know what I mean? And like this one, you're like, yeah, no, I think I enjoyed a lot of the routes and everything. We had fun. We loved all the love interests. Gil was really charming. And again, he sweeps you off your feet every single time he shows up. Even in this route, you're like, Gil, why are you so charming? Stop it. But I don't feel guilty romancing any of the characters in front of the other ones until we get Dante looking at me. And then I feel guilty as shit. And it's like, I forgot that I love you this much until you show up in front of me. Weird. I don't know. It's a weird phenomenon over here. Anyway. Dante made his way toward the entrance after them, stopping in front of me first. Today must have been tiring. Please get some rest. Thank you. I'm really glad Leo wasn't hurt tonight. Interest? Oh no. Ugh. Okay, it's Gil.
What is it, Redford?
No, nothing. I was just thinking that she's become even more beautiful since last year. Hey, Gil, don't be trying to flirt with me. I got a boyfriend. Nothing quite as radiant as a signorina in love. Don't you agree, Yang?
I don't agree with your logic. I am more interested in her now than before.
Jesus Christ, this really is the man harem route. Gil's like, man, she's hotter now that she's in love with Henry. And Yang's over there like, I don't care. I mean, yeah, a little bit. What is with this? What did I put on my fucking, like, attract men axe body spray? Like, shit.
What might Lambert do if I stole her from him? I'd be interested to find out.
Don't do it. He might kill you and assume your identity. But he'd do a good impression of you. Could you imagine? Now I just want to see Henry pretending to be everybody else. Actually, you know what I want? I want a weird fucking world swap where everybody is somebody else and, like, Henry is Yang and Yang has to be fucking, like, Dante and, like, Dante has to be Gil. Dante being Gil would be so difficult. You'd be like, I have to what now? Like, yeah, you have to be suave and cool with the ladies. It's not gonna work. Nicola has to be Orlok and Orlok has to be Nicola. Like,
Swap it around a little bit better. Oh, no, wait. Orlok has to be Henry. Who's Nicola, then? Who are we missing? Oh, Gil. Gil has to be Nicola. No, Gil has to be Orlok. Orlok would have to be Nicola. I don't know how it's gonna work, but, like, everybody has to be somebody else. It'd be kind of fun. It'd be really fucking funny to watch. Oliver would be so confused when Dante as freaking Gil showed up, and he'd be like, this is wrong. Like, they'd, like, body snatch each other. Like, there's some kind of weird, like, they touch some kind of magic stone or some shit. Let's bring some fantasy into this mafia. Like, I just want to see everyone body swap for, like, a little bit. That'd be just goddamn amazing. Anyway. They'd likely only frame me for a crime I didn't commit. The same boring punishment you endured.
I like the fact that they're both talking about how hot I am. Oh, Dante, stop it! Oh. Thank you. I'm really glad Leo wasn't hurt tonight. Look at how sweet his little face is. I love that. Oh my god. I mean, I knew I loved Dante, and I remember loving him in the first one, but, like, I don't... Like, how did you... Where... Stop it. Yes, so am I. He smiled a little and nodded. Dante pushed open the door and departed the church. Nicola followed when... That's right. He realized something and looked over at me. Say, Space, if you're free tomorrow, why don't you come by for a cup of tea? Do you mean at the Foul Zone Manor? Yes, I'm sure you could use a change of scenery. Being stuck inside a hotel room can get depressing after a while. All right, Henry, you wouldn't mind, would you? Of course, we'll send a car to pick her up. And that is... I'm sorry, Nicola. I really am grateful for the offer, but... If that's the case, don't be shy about accepting. That is, unless you're declining for his sake. I'd extend the invitation to include him, but I don't think he would accept. Why don't you leave him be and visit us on your own? Rest assured, we have sufficient security. What are you doing, Nicola? I feel like Nicola's trying to, like, make Henry, like, she is mine! Okay, it's about time you fucking admitted that. I would still rather not go alone. Really? Henry, who had been silent for a while, gave a heavy sigh. I'll go as well. I agree it's a much-needed change. Henry... And then it's settled. We'll send a car to pick you both up tomorrow. Like, what is Nicola's endgame here? Looking satisfied, Nicola waved his hand and left the church. Are you sure it's okay? You don't have to push yourself. I was worried that the manor would dredge up unwanted memories of Henry's past. Oh, that's true. Don't worry, I'll be fine. It's all in the past, and no sense in ruminating over it forever. And then all of us, I completely forgot about it, and now all I can think about is chibi Nicola face. Like, I know it's supposed to be baby Henry CG, but, like, Nicola stole the show in that one, I'm not gonna lie. Like, think of that little fucking chibi face. You're like, everybody else looks like normal art characters, and he is, like, fucking, like, just completely out of place. Too goddamn cute with your stupid round eyes. Hilarious. And I'm sorry, but the best child one is still Dante curled around that damn cat. And then again, how they, like, mimicked that with him curled around us later on. It's like, that's beautiful. You knew what you were doing. I like it. Spacey, we should be heading back to the hotel. Will you be able to lock the doors? Oh, yes. Since Sister Sophia was with Elena, she had lent me the keys to the church. As we walked back toward the entrance, I couldn't stop thinking about what he said. It's all in the past. That may be so, but Henry's feelings about the past couldn't be so easily forgotten, especially since he spent a majority of his recent past so angry about the past that he was trying to kill everyone. So I'm just saying, it's in the past. I mean, you're the one who was obsessed with the past, so. Still feeling concerned, I followed him out of the church and locked the doors behind us. The next morning, I awoke at the hotel, got dressed, and walked out into the main room. To my surprise, there was no sign of Henry. Would he still be sleeping? Just as I was wondering that, I heard the sound of running water in the adjoining room. Oh, he must be taking a bath. Oh my god. Go in. For some reason, it made me feel nervous. We lived in the same house before, but things felt different now. Just then, the telephone rang. I want to see Henry in the bath. I wasn't sure if I should answer the phone, but I worried that it might be an important call. Yes? Is it the Phantom? Oh, good day to you, Signorina. Another beautiful today, isn't it? His voice is... It probably. Yeah. Could you put Henry on for me? I do long to hear his voice. Oh, but I haven't forgotten. I've actually called to talk to you. To me? Yes. We have a unique connection, don't we? I have been wanting to get to know you better. And at the same time, perhaps you'll get to know me as well, to understand me deeply. I couldn't help but remember Henry's warning, hang up the phone. I don't say this to scare you, but I want you to be very careful. And try not to attract his interest. Too late! I exist, therefore. Maybe it's best that I not say too much. Maybe it's best you don't talk to him at all. You can hang up. But I may be able to extract some valuable information from Sebastiano. I quietly took a deep breath to calm myself as I gripped the receiver. I'd have just hung up. Click, click, hang up, and then leave the phone off the hook. As you may have already gathered, it was not too troublesome for me to learn where you two were hiding away. I don't think we're hiding that well in a expensive hotel. I cannot fault Henry for his generosity in bringing you to such a magnificent hotel suite. Though I must say I envy you. Why, because Henry took me here and not you? What? Oh, and she literally... What? Unfortunately, security is so tight that I'm afraid I cannot enter. Therefore, you must be the one to come see me. I shall contact you again with a formal invitation, so do look forward to it. I could hear his taunting smile through the receiver. You know, Spacey, to tell you the truth, I admire you greatly. It was because you saved Henry that he and I were able to reunite after all these years. His voice rose with such exuberance that I told myself to keep as calm as possible. And that's a load of bullshit, Sebastiano, because when he died, you went crazy and just started killing everybody. So I'm just saying, it's not like, oh, if he had died, we wouldn't have been connected, and then it would have been sad, and then I would have moved on with my life. No, you would have just started killing everybody. Signor Gallier, what is it that you want from Henry? Must you ask? Why are you with Henry yourself? Is it because he desires it to be so? Or because it is he who is important to you? You see, I know the answer. It's because you are the key maiden. And there's no one else who can serve as a replacement for his sister, you see. Oh, ouch! Ouch! Oh! Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, that hurts! He knew exactly how to do damage! Oh! I'm clinging for dear life over here! Shit! I'm dead! He did that son of a bitch. That is exactly what we did. We're like, Henry might be interested in me, and like, maybe, and we're running, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, it's because you're a replacement for his sister, and we're like, all hope's dashed! Shit. We are in chapter 4. We're halfway through his route. So, yeah, no, I mean, we gotta start coming up with, like, the thing that makes us doubt his feelings for us. And here you go. God damn it. His response rendered me speechless. And not to worry, I know precisely how Henry's mind works. And now then, Signorina, I will be in touch again soon. Please give my regards to my dearest friend. Wait! The call ended abruptly, and I still held the receiver for a moment before setting it down. I stood dumbfounded for a while, unable to organize my thoughts.
we're not going to say anything about it. And then later, we're just a replacement for your sister. And he's like, what the fuck would give you that dumbass idea? Oh, you know what I mean? She's not going to say anything. She's just going to let it hurt and fester. I heard the click of Henry opening the door. Spacey, is there something wrong? Henry's expression indicated that he hadn't heard the phone call just now. The phone rang, so nothing in particular. I feel like we should be honest. But I'm wondering if now she's gonna like just lie and say nothing because she doesn't want to talk about it and she's not gonna mention the I'm a replacement for your sister and how much that hurts us. Because we gotta let it fester until it bubbles to the surface and then we break. You know what I mean? You gotta hold that dough in that tiny little container until it just expands and busts out. So I'm wondering if she's gonna say nothing in particular. I feel like we should say the phone rang, but ooh, goddamn, another save file. Okay. Oh god. Good, good. A moment ago the phone rang, so I answered it. It was Sebastiano. I recounted to Henry the details of the telephone call in order. That he knew our whereabouts now, and that he would call again to issue us an invitation. She's going to leave this part out. Understood. I'm sure it must be alarming, but it's best if we stay here rather than move again. I've taken all possible measures to secure the place with the help of my associates, and that includes protecting against potential attacks. And the only places in town with better security are the homes of the Burlone Mafia. It's all right. I'm not too worried. Henry looked at me quietly and smiled with a slightly troubled look. And just in case, let's discuss it with Nicola. He may be able to improve upon the security here. Wow, I couldn't read. I'm sorry. Yes. He stared at me again for a moment. We definitely left out the part about his sister. And he lightly pinched me on the nose. Henry? What are you? He chuckled at my surprised reaction. You looked so serious, I had to. Is there anything else you haven't mentioned? Anything that Sebastiano said? He saw right through me, and I knew I couldn't hide it from him. He said you only keep me by your side as a replacement for Chloe. Damn, I can't. I thought we were really gonna just let it fester and bubble. I was a little shocked by that idea, but I didn't mean to look so serious. I'm sorry if I worried you, Henry. I know how she's not like, she's just like, it just shocked me a little, but I'm cool. Instead of being like, that just really hurt because I love you, but she's not ready to admit her feelings to him, so I mean, I get it. I'm sorry, Bird. It's just I'm really uncomfortable all of a sudden. I tried my best to look as natural as possible, but the muscles in my cheeks felt heavy. We're fake smiling. A replacement for Chloe. After thinking about it for a moment, he looked at me again. I'll be honest. Like, I mean, this is the point where you're like, I definitely don't think of you as my sister. Let's put it that way. Do you really think that's the case? And that I'm only protecting you as a surrogate sister? Sure as hell hope not, because that makes my feelings really inappropriate. No, I never thought of it that way before, but suppose when he said it. They are somewhat similar, but also different. Henry knew exactly how different I was from Chloe. I knew better than to doubt him now. Good for us! My god, I was like fully expecting her to be like, oh my god, wait a minute, what if that's it? And just have some doubt because we don't know that he's in love with us, you know what I mean? So that would actually be a legit, like, concern, you know what I mean? Something you're like, I wasn't thinking about that, but now I am, you know? I may have been drawn to you because you're the current key maiden, but if I had intended from the beginning to keep you in the role of my sister. He paused for a moment, smiling as he thought back to the beginning. I wouldn't have adopted orphans with you. I would never have spoken to you the way I did. It would have been easier to abduct you. I wouldn't have come to see you time and time again, just to confirm your intentions. I was supposed to die, but you told me to live. You even told me that you would forgive me of all the crimes I committed.
Are you gonna kiss me? Because I need you to kiss me. Henry kindly took my hand. I could feel his warmth even more than usual. Spacey, I didn't choose you to be my sister. It was you who chose me to be my sister. No, I'm just kidding. You took pity on the brother of the previous key maiden and reached out to me. Are you still worried? He smiled softly. I returned his smile, feeling relief in my heart. That was like about as much of a confession as we're going to get from him for now. Eventually he'll tell us. No, I'm okay. I'm sorry for worrying about something like that. I'm glad you told me about it. I don't want you to feel any sadness because of that man. Henry blinked in wonder as I stared at him. You're acting a little strange. Am I? Yes? Ever since we came to Berlone, you touch me more often now. Whatever the reason, I'm grateful for it. It makes me happy every time it happens. I love this. Here. Henry gave a heavy sigh and let go of my hand. I'm sorry. Did I say something wrong? He was looking away from me. After a moment, he regained his composure. And the car from the foul zone should be arriving soon, and we should head down to the lobby. I went to put on my shawl, and we left the room together. Like, you're touching me more often. And then it brings attention to it. It's like, you're doing okay being out here in public with a bazillion people, and then all of a sudden you're like, suddenly aware of all the people. You know what I mean? But I like that she brought it up instead of keeping it in. Like, I like it, We got into the car that arrived and departed for the Falzone Manor. We arrived in the car. We got in the car that arrived and departed for the Falzone Manor. I just read that in the weirdest way possible. Anyway, got in car, now here.
Buongiorno! Welcome to the foul zone. It's been a while, Space.
Leo greeted us as we exited the car. Yes, it has. I responded with a smile, and Leo looked happy to see it jump into his arms. Leo, my best friend!
I'm glad you're doing well. It's a relief to see your bright smile again.
A relief?
Yeah, the way things were before, I wasn't all too sure you were happy here. I knew you were forcing yourself to smile.
Leo, look at his little sweet face, little eyebrows. His fucking eyebrows really make all of his facial expressions. I just love his little cockeyed eyebrows. He's like, love the look on his face. Henry seems concerned. He's like, are you in love with Leo? No, I want to keep Leo like a pet. That sounds weird. And just wildly inappropriate with the man harem, and all my boyfriends are like my pets. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, Leo's so adorable, you just want to squeeze him and cuddle him like a cute puppy or some shit. Again, if we ever got, like, a Fandisky thing where we could date Leo, I'd be okay with it. Because, like, Leo and the main character together would be cute. Personally, I just want Leo to be my best friend, and I love him to death, and I only want the good things for him. But, like, I would totally ship him with Elena. Or Orlok with Elena, to be honest, because, But, anyway. I was embarrassed enough to know they saw through me, but even more that Henry heard. No, actually, it's good, because it'll get it through his goddamn thick skull that we're in love with him. He knows, he's not stupid, but he just won't accept it.
Nice to see you again, Senor Lambert.
Yes, and thank you for your help the other night. I also must apologize for involving you in a dangerous situation. Please forgive me.
Oh, don't worry about using me as bait. I wouldn't have wanted Sister Sophia taking on that role anyway. I was glad to be able to do it in her place. I'm here to help the family. I don't consider it a bother at all.
Leo smiled cheerfully. He's so fucking adorable. Goddamn Leo, he's a little ball of sunshine. You cannot hurt a little ball of sunshine. I know they did in other routes and bad endings. They killed him, didn't they, Bird? Buddy, they killed Leo. Oh no. My bird is like, why are you all of a sudden cuddling me?
Besides, the conversation you and I had a while back meant a lot to me. It brought back important memories.
Important memories?
Yep.
Leo nodded and began talking about the incident from last year.
I don't need to worry about food anymore, and I have a warm bed to sleep in at night. That's more than enough reason to be happy. must say, that's very admirable of you. You have lived your very best all this time. His kind words were praise that I wasn't used to hearing often. I remember feeling a bit shy about it. I know you want to do something besides being in the Mafia. Perhaps live out a childhood dream. Was there anything you dreamed of doing while living with your parents? Not starving to death, so kind of doing that. When he asked me that, I remember what it felt like to have a dream as a child. Things may be different now, but I do remember how happy I was. And I heard that you were looking to get even with Dante and the others, which is something I'm against, but I'm glad that we're in a situation now that allows us to cooperate, even temporarily.
Henry returned Leo's shy smile with one of his own, though it seemed a little complicated. Oh my god. Look, Leo's blushing! What is it about Henry that makes everybody just kind of like fall in love with him? I mean, okay, to be fair, Yang and Gil are in love with me all of a sudden. But like, there is just something about me and Henry and this like unrequited love that we're passing around between us that is just like an aphrodisiac for fucking everyone, and everybody is just so into it. They're like, God, there's something about it. Like, I mean, I swear to God, Henry, you are the reason the man harem exists right now, probably. In this game. Good God. Would you like to come to the man harem? Yes! I mean, they're all fucking, like, this is the man harem, this is the most harem route in this game. Should have been the Alternativa route, but for some reason, like, the bromance happening in this route every which way is just amazing.
You should be cautious of whom you trust. I spoke to you with the intention of disarming you.
And then if that's the case, couldn't you have tried a little harder? I mean, if you had, you could have gotten a lot more out of me than you actually did. Henry's like, I was just trying to disarm you. Are you sure?
No, I actually think you're cute.
Like, I don't know why you backed off, but you let me go pretty easily, I think.
I'm not as kind as you believe.
Henry's like, I'm not that nice. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Goddamn cinnamon roll. Who murders people? Henry appeared to be brushing it off, but I felt that what Leo said was right. Sorry to go on and on like that. Nicola's waiting for us inside. Leo hurried to the door and ushered us inside the manor. I love his little, like, idol crush that he's got. A beautiful spread had been laid out on the table for tea. The first that caught my eye was the shiny baba soaked in rum syrup and served with cream. Beside it was a citrus crostata that appeared to have lemon and orange filling. I love lemony desserts. There was also glossy candied strawberries that shone like jewels. Like, damn, Julia. Oh, when Julia heard you were coming, she went all out to prepare everything for your visit, even though we won't be able to finish all this. I looked away from the table and toward Nicola, but saw that he was speaking to Henry. Are you sure it wasn't for Spacey? Who knows? Why don't you ask her? Just as Nicola smiled, Julia entered the salon. Oh, my! She stopped when she saw Henry and stood for a moment, blinking her watery eyes. I just kind of love this. Like, usually it's us. We come and, like, everyone's so happy that I'm here. And, like, you're like, and then Nicola's like, oh, Julia made so much when she knew you were coming. And you're like, oh, you're talking to Henry. Aw. I should be jealous, but I'm not. I love this. He needs to get some love and affection so that he understands that everybody likes you. Even the people that hated you at the beginning of this really like you now. Nicola's over there like, loved having you around like a big brother. We saw that flashback. Fucking chibi Nicola. Oh. Yes, I can still recognize you. You've grown so tall. Oh, well, of course you would have. Oh, don't mind this old woman. You probably don't remember me at all, but that's all right. At the time, I was only the Signora's maid, and had very little to do with your upbringing. But I do remember you. You had such a particular taste when it came to food. But you told me you liked my amaretti. That's not her voice. I don't know what's happening, but that's okay. Henry had been looking on at her in silence, then finally lowered his eyes and spoke. I love how, like,
everyone being excited to see Henry makes him so shy and awkward. He's not like, oh yeah, no, I don't remember you. He's like, oh, I remember you and I'm really happy to see you. But like, he just doesn't know how to deal with people being happy to see him. Like,
I was struggling to adapt to a new environment and couldn't speak the language. Refusing to eat was the only way that I could express my thoughts, as rude as they were. I am certain I caused a great deal of trouble back then. I'm grateful for how kind you were regardless. Grazie, Julia.
oh, no. Both back then and now. I only wish there was more I could do. Julia responded with tears in her eyes as she remembered their past. I love the fact that she's just like, oh, this sweet child! And you know she wants to hug him. You know she wants to hug him. God damn, I love all the characters in this game. For Henry, the Falzone Manor must be a symbol of all the suffering he experienced in life. But there were those like Julia and Leo, both of whom obviously cared for Henry in their own ways, which is what's so adorable! It was a thought that warmed my heart. And now, please help yourselves. I still have plenty more for when you're finished. Thank you, Julia. We sat down on the sofa at her urging. It was then that I noticed another plate, one with pistachio amaretti. I picked one up looking at the very treat that Henry praised when he was a child. It's so good! It's somehow crispier and softer than any amaretti I've had before. And the trick is in the way you whip the egg whites. I also changed the amount of sugar and almond flour. Nicola, who had also tried one, gave a thoughtful pause before asking, I come to think of it, aren't amaretti similar to the French macaron? Yeah, because there's macaroons and macarons, and they're different, but aren't they the same? I don't know. Because, like, macaroons have, like, the crunchy thing with the creamy, the centery thingy. But are macarons different? Because they're spelled different, and I think they're pronounced different. I don't know, anyway. A meringue pastry made using egg whites, sugar, and almonds. In France, each region has its own unique macarons, not macaroons. Some have a crunchy texture, while others are chewy and moist. But the cookie you normally see are not French macarons. They're like the Japanese macaroons. Well, they might not be Japanese. I don't know, but they're not the normal. They're different, right? Aren't they different? I don't know. And I don't know what the difference is, aside from the pronunciation and one's got an extra O in it. Like, aren't they different, though? Not the same? I don't know. Perhaps it's the familiar style and flavor that you liked. Oh, goodness me. I've forgotten to bring out the drinks. Let me fetch them right away. After Julia hurried out of the salon, Nicola turned to me with an unexpected question. We looked back and all of those amaretti were gone because frickin', and then he's got 6 of them stuffed in his mouth. Henry doesn't eat, but he couldn't resist. Say, Space, isn't being alone with Henry a little suffocating? I feel like, what is happening here? I feel like Nicola's doing a thing. He's doing something to try to make Henry snap and, like, stake his territory. But, like, everybody else in this, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, Gil and fucking Yang over there, like, yeah, I don't know. She's a tastier snack now that she wants to be with Henry. And, like, Dante's just sad. And, like, Nicola's trying to, like, poke the bear. Like, what is wrong with the men in this route? I kind of love it, though. There's, like, this, like, it's very under the radar, underneath the plot level chaos. You know? Huh? If you're tired of it, you can return any time. And Dante and I will always welcome you. Thank you, Nicola, for worrying about me. I appreciate the thought, but I want to be with Henry, so I'm alright. Either that or, like, I feel like I want to believe that Nicola's doing this to kind of get Henry to kind of, like, for me or Henry, for us to realize our feelings. Because he's not stupid, he knows. You know what I mean? They all do. So he's like, if I say this shit, she'll say something that she wants to be with Henry, or he'll, like, stake his claim, and then they'll finally stop beating around the goddamn bush! Cut the corners! Cut through the center of the bush and just fall in love already! Stop chasing each other around it, you know? But then again, then you wonder if also, like, Gil's over there, and Yang's like, well, I mean, I could kidnap her. And you wonder if freaking Nicola's over here like, well, I mean... You know what I mean? Like, what is...
So chaotic. Huh? What is it? Hey, you're a very honest girl, right, Henry? It must be lovely to have someone like her by your side. Oh yeah, Nicola knows what he's doing. Nicola! I'm merely her guardian, and there's nothing further to discuss beyond that. Oh, so you have nothing else to say about it? I imagine that must bother her in some way. I tried to cut in and they both looked over. Again, I love this. It's like, could you just not express my love for him to him without my consent? Pretty sure he knows anyway, but I froze in place, having nothing to say. I frantically searched my mind for any topic, and then all of a sudden all the other boys roll in and start professing my love to Henry for me. I was suddenly able to come up with one. I've actually been thinking for a while that you both speak in similar ways. There's a softness to your voices. You think so? Yes, just a little. Henry said nothing and only looked away, looking a bit uncomfortable. I love the fact that he is just, like, so socially awkward around people he's known his whole life. Like, you know what I mean? Just because of all the shit he's been through, and he's like, I refuse to think of happy times and think people like me. If Henry won't say anything, then I will. Shall I start with what he was like when he lived here? Yes? Nicola! I thought she might want to hear about it. Of course, we can talk about something else, as long as you provide us with a better topic. Why should I? So, Space, do you want to chat about Henry? I do! We're not even worried about his feelings. Like, we're like, nah, just, shh. Henry, need to hear about you. It doesn't have to be a difficult topic. Something light and casual should be fine. For example, Nicola's fucking sly ass face right here. Oh, right. I heard she cooked for you every day in France. Which of your dishes did you enjoy the most, Henry? I'd like to know that too. Oh, Henry hates this. I love it. Henry shot a glare at Nicola, who brushed it off with ease. And Nicola knows exactly what he's doing. He's like, I know goddamn well you love her too, Henry. Just fucking admit it. Henry had tried to kill Nicola in the past. Oh, okay. Dante. I'm finding some free time in between deals. I went to visit the church. It was unusual to find it empty this time of day, but at least I'd be able to pray in silence. I walked down the aisle and took a seat in the pew nearest the altar. I exhaled deeply, still trying to sort out the clutter in my head. At that moment, Sister Sophia entered the church through the back door near the altar. Signor Falzone! She smiled as our eyes met, and I gave a small nod of my head. And the sister approached me and began to speak in a hushed voice that restrained her worry. Thank you very much for the other day. I've heard she's now with Signor Lambert again. Yes. And that night I received a call from Signor Francesca informing me of the change. After that, Signor Lambert called me to let me know as well. Signor Falzone. I was torn about voicing the thought aloud. It was something I couldn't tell Nicola, especially since I had noticed Nicola's sympathies toward him in our conversations. But if I could express my thoughts to the sister, then perhaps... It is true that it may be better for her to remain with him at this time. Lambert will protect her, and I don't see him betraying that responsibility. However, the sins he committed would not be forgotten. He deceived the Falzone and came after the Burlone Mafia. Of all the people to, completely hold a grudge, it's Dante. I remember the chaos in town following those incidents. He even attempted to kill Nicola. Everybody else, Gil's like, I hate you. Yeah, it's fine, alright, I get over it. Everybody else is but Dante is like, no. I will stay mad forever. And that's the exact same thing that was spurning Henry on. I'm just saying, you guys are the same. As far as Space was concerned, he may have grown fond of her, but he likely only approached her from the start with the intention of using her.
Sister Sophia's expression was tense, and her complexion appeared to have paled. I was concerned that she was feeling unwell.
Signor Falzone.
When she spoke again, her voice was much more determined than usual.
There's something I must discuss with you.
I nodded quietly in response.
It's about his sister, Chloe Lambert. How much do you know about her death?
I was startled by her sudden question.
That's true. It was only in Dante's own route in this game that we found out the legit truth. So Dante wouldn't know in this one.
I knew she wasn't the type to ask unnecessary questions, so I replied honestly. The previous key maiden, Chloe Lambert, believed that she and my father, Silvio, were destined to be together. When she realized that her wish wouldn't be fulfilled, she fell to the sea and lost her life.
It was around this time in early winter, when she fell off the cliff and died. She just drowned.
No gunshot wounds, no stab wounds, because they pushed her. Pushing and jumping are different.
You know why she fell from the cliff? She murdered.
No, her death was determined to be an accident. Checked myself and didn't find any evidence of foul play.
Marco covered it up, though, didn't he? I had heard it straight from Marco, although it was still questionable as to whether or not she committed suicide. Sister Sophia clutched her rosary tightly.
Nobody knows about the attempted murder on Dante.
There's something else I wish to tell you. And the night she passed away, I saw her. And that night as I was locking up the church, I heard a voice. She was talking to someone very happily. Walking alongside her was your father, Silvio. He was there.
He probably pushed her.
I remembered my own words from before.
There's no foul play. Do you think she was murdered? Nah. How do you know? You don't know that there was anybody else there who didn't, shove her off a cliff. You know what I mean? You're like, she fell off a cliff. How are we supposed to know? There was no gunshot wound, no choking, no strangling, but if someone pushed her... Whoops.
I remembered my own words from before. The former key maiden, Chloe Lambert, attacked our family, and you think he punished her brother as an act of revenge?
Okay, so he does know about that. Wait a minute. That's true. Wait.
Huh. A man who was capable of pushing an innocent boy into a punitive existence. He would do far greater harm to the actual person who threatened his wife and son.
Well, okay, that's interesting. I thought in Dante's route he didn't know about that. But then in this one he does know about it. And yet he doesn't think that there's any reason for... Intriguing.
And the reason foul play had been ruled out was because Chloe had no other injuries, and there was no evidence of a struggle. For my father, whom she trusted completely, it would have been as simple as taking her up the cliff and pushing her off.
Exactly.
This was only speculation, and now that my father and Chloe were both dead, there was no way to confirm the truth. Grappling with how likely that scenario was in actuality was another matter entirely.
I've never told anyone about it, because I had only seen the two of them walking, and nothing else.
Thank you, Sister Sophia. I appreciate it. I know it took great courage for you to tell me. In all the years she had been with the church, she had listened to the townspeople's many troubles, but she herself could tell no one of her own. She had carried this unsettling secret and suffered from it all alone.
I like how Dante was like, I can't forgive Henry, and she's like, your father may have pushed his sister to her death, and he's like, alright, maybe we can forgive him. I feel like that's the way it's gonna go. Dante's like,
Sister, do you think Henry Lambert is aware of this?
He tried to tell the others, but in vain. On the day of the funeral, he insisted that she was killed. Although he was young, he must have noticed the manner in which Silvio regarded his sister.
Oh, look, we get to see him dressed as the Direttore. I love it.
You think I'd buy that lie? Chloe was murdered. And Chloe was killed. She was shot before my very eyes. None. No. Chloe. She was stabbed. No. She was poisoned and...
Like, he can't even remember.
He had been consumed by madness. But the seeds of that madness may have been planted by someone else. The bloodline of the Falzone continue to commit sins to this day.
Love is a precious thing. A wonderful thing. Sometimes those feelings can save people. Even those who have known nothing but hatred can feel the desire to protect someone. But there are times when loving someone means sacrifice in one form or another. The same could be said for Silvio. No, it could be said about anyone.
Her words echoed loudly in my mind, not only for my father, but for everyone. Love had the power to change people, for better or worse. I couldn't help but wonder whether I had any right to blame Henry Lambert, to accuse him or question his sins.
You don't, Dante. Good job. We're like over time, but the thing is, we've got another meanwhile. I didn't think that meanwhile story was going to go as long. We've got another meanwhile story, and then the scene will probably end. So we'll just go a little long and do this one too. Oh, it's Marco. Oh no, it's Roberto. Whatever. It's one or the other.
Yes, this is the Berlin police. Hey, Robbie. How you doing? Marco, are you alright now? Well, I'm able to walk again at least, but I almost died again from boredom, so I snuck out for a while. Seriously? Can't say I expect differently from you, but please reconsider your actions. You've been getting yourself into trouble lately by acting alone, even telling me. No, this one was... It was like my past had come back to haunt me. I don't understand. Oh, speaking of not understanding, there was an unusual incident a few nights ago. Someone opened fire in the plaza, which nearly created a disturbance. No casualties. This is reported that an unknown masked man took a young woman hostage. An incident like this, after the serial murders and yourself being attacked, I don't know for certain, but the timing suggests they could all be connected in some way. You said it. Do you know anything about this? Well, all I can say for sure is that it's out of our hands. You gone soft after your hospital stay? Course not. Just better to leave it to the specialists is all.
Henry had tried to kill Nicola in the past. Despite that, the relationship between the two of them didn't feel awkward. Didn't feel awkward! I don't know. It seems like Henry feels a little awkward about this right now, but anyway. So yeah. I will end this here, and we will continue Chapter 4. Probably get to the end of Chapter 4 next time, because I feel like the chapters are at least roughly 2 parts, so anyway. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up, and subscribe to see more.